Here's a collection of tactics and tips from W/ that will save you time and money while improving your results. We say W/. What we mean is we're with you. E-learning strategies simply have to be based on business goals if you want real results. Those goals should be at the center of your target for each course. If they're not, start over. All the information learners need to know to achieve those goals circles around the bullseye. But even more important than knowledge are the things learners need to practice. More times than not, and this is where e-learning really shines, it's practice in making critical decisions. And these are the ring next to the bullseye. Scope and process. I hate them and I love them. I hate them because I'm just not a detailed kind of guy. But we've learned over the years that tying down a detailed project scope as a very first step in a project means no surprises later. And you gotta love that. Mid-project then, when one of us or someone in the client side has a great idea, we can go back to the scoping document and see if it really fits. If it does, then we estimate the impact in both time and costs before we continue. It's really the only way we've found to control scope creep. Next, we plan for all of the steps in design and production and make sure that everyone knows and understands the timing and their responsibilities. We recently re-engineered the entire e-learning process for one of our clients, and we found we could save 20% of all our efforts. That's like getting an extra day free every week. And with the time and money we've saved, we've been able to make sure that every course has 3D selling simulations. That really takes learning to the next level. Keeping your courses modular can save you time and money, not just in terms of your initial production, but down the road as well. We'll look at being modular in two different ways. One at more of a macro scale, where you think of a series of courses that might have similar information, say sales courses. In every course you're going to have something about the competition or the marketplace. You're going to have information about the features and benefits and technical qualities of the product. And you're going to have some information about how to apply that knowledge and actually make sales. Keeping those buckets fairly discrete makes it easy for you to grab them later and move them around and reuse them in ways that can be quite creative. At a more granular level, at a page level, and certainly not all our courses are page-by-page oriented, but even when they're not, we try to do this. We keep each page or each small segment in its own flash file so that later on, when there's some kind of update to make or simply something becomes outdated and gets pulled out, it's not a question of sorting through a huge 800 meg file or something. It's just a quick, grab that page and it's out. Once you've made your content modular, then it's really easy to reuse it. And there's probably no more cost-effective way to develop your program than to make sure you can use your content in more than one way. First example I'll use for that is to simply create two doors into the same content. And if you imagine a really technical course where you want to take people through in a very linear page-by-page fashion so that they understand the flow and the concepts, by the measure of that kind of course, you know there's going to be things in there that are just too detailed. There's just too much information to actually create a valid assessment. And you create an assessment, but the greater value of the course may really be longer term to have people be able to go back and use some kind of search mechanism, natural language search or keyword search, and rifle back into widget wings or whatever it is so that that technical information is very easy for them to get to. The second way to reuse content in a really effective way, and I mentioned this a little bit a minute ago, if you take, for instance, a group of sales courses and you take all of the technical and feature benefit information out of all of those, reassemble those buckets into a resource, now you can have a resource where salespeople can go in and compare products across the entire product line and with just a few clicks understand what technologies run through what products and and really make a good comparison sale for a customer or just for their own information, but it's the same exact content you used in another way. It's just got a whole different value this way. We've all used repetition to help people learn. Remember the 3 T's? Tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them you told them. But memories fade. One way to combat that is to reprise your assessments later on when people have likely forgotten things that they really should remember. Maybe that's 3 months, 6 months, depends on your situation, but imagine taking pieces of different assessments from different courses, really key information that people need to retain. Put that into a new assessment, send people through it, and it's a really good way for them to stay on top of their game, a really good way for them to stay focused on what's important. One of the things that I caution, though, is while this is an assessment, there is no course sitting there for them to refer back to. So if you're going to do that, make sure that they either get the answers right after the question, if they miss it, which is something we don't do normally, or make sure there's a link back to the page of whatever course that is that the question is in reference to. It's a really good way to keep people sharp and make sure that you're on track with your goals. Ever hear this one? Try, fail, try again, fail better. I like that one. It's a good reminder that we learn best by doing. You know, all the buzz around immersive learning simulations, and I even hate to put those 3 words together just because it starts an academic debate. The whole idea is simply to practice. Practice making critical decisions within a safe, simulated reality. That's all it amounts to. Give people a realistic place to go practice what they should know or need to know in order to reach that business objective. Creating a place for people to practice can be as simple as a 2-dimensional, even text-based simulation, but we really favor the 3D sims. You know, we humans are such social creatures that we even interpret sitting in front of a computer as a social experience. Characters that interact with learners and take advantage of this help to improve your image, help to improve trust, and of course, learning. Stanford University did a great study on this. You can find it in our blog, or email me and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. The character you see here was developed using CodeBaby. If each course has learning objectives, then your e-learning program as a whole has objectives too, right? Some are tangible, and some are more, well, ephemeral. But make sure you periodically survey learners to see how well you're doing. It's the only way you can get better at what you do. If you see learning from the vantage point of the learner, you'll naturally make them more successful. And the ROI on that is to build relationships of trust and commitment. That's something we can all profit from. For example, sales training needs to be about how to sell, not just about product features and benefits. Here you see survey results from over 600 sales managers. They told us, as a result of our courses, salespeople were 94% more likely to sell the client brand over other brands, 98% more able to recommend the right product for the customer, 97% better at overcoming objections to close the sale, and on average, they had an increase of 8% in sales. That's not bad. Most companies' LMSs are a size or two too big for their needs. The LMS can get so complicated that it actually becomes a barrier to learners taking courses. And sometimes, the cost per seat model is just a budget killer. But you can find less expensive second-generation LMSs for a flat monthly fee. Like our own Simple LMS. It's available for use as of May 1st. Check it out at simpleLMS.net. As the old saying goes, none of us is as smart as all of us. So keep networking with others and share what works for you. W/ is e-learning not as usual. That means whatever it takes to help you solve problems and get results. We do things differently, and we go where our competition won't, to help separate you from your competition. Click or call to set up a 30-minute phone conference. The first 15 minutes are yours to tell us about your needs. The second 15 are yours too. It's where we explain the kind of solutions that could save you time and money. The kind of solutions that can make you even more successful than you already are.